You're watching The Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Jena and Bean and Alfie, and we are back again for another episode of Space Cadettes. Anywho, so it is in fact the holiday season, and I did just finish eating. So I want to talk about food. First things first, though, what is the worst thing you've ever like you went to this holiday with family or friends or whoever, and you just kind of look on the table and you're like, sweet baby Jesus, what is that? No, thank you. What was that thing to you guys? Alfie, do you have one?
I'm trying to think. I feel like all the I can't think of anything that was just purely egregious. Like I can't even be polite about this. I'm not eating. I'm going to McDonald's right now. Like everything that I've had that comes to mind right now has just been like, oh, this entire meal is canned food. And this is supposed to be like big holiday stuff, which, hey, I mean, there's nothing necessarily like inherently wrong with canned food. I understand and I appreciate people cooking for me, period. But it's like, I could have made better at home. And that's just, maybe that's rude to say. And of course I don't say it. But that's the first thing that comes to mind. I can't think of anything that was just, oh no. I'll try to think of something, but I think maybe I just blocked everything out, or I've been lucky. It's one or the other.
So this is kind of a kind of running joke with us, because last year Bean went somewhere, and they had what did we end up calling it? The Jello monster or something?
I don't remember. It's not people I'm gonna see again, so I don't have to be. And also, though, you don't get an update on what, bless her heart, that lady is gonna come up with this year. But yeah, it was like a Jello mold, but it had like the thing is, I think that what made it worse is it had half melted, and it involved having celery in it, and it was puke green.
Oh, I think that's like an aspic.
Yeah, it had the vibes of like the 90s thing where like Jello was everywhere and everything was in Jello.
Oh, there's whole cookbooks from like the 70s. It's gross. Oh.
Yeah, it was scary though. That's my scariest one.
Yeah, looking at the picture, it reminds me of that movie Better Off Dead, where his mom is a horrible cook, and he's like trying to like stab the dinner, but it's moving off the plate.
Oh my god!
It
reminded me
what I'm getting.
Yeah, the first time I saw the picture last year, it reminded me of that episode from Futurama where Bender is cooking. And he's like, I made all these meals based off of you guys. And Amy, I think you're cute. So I made you a horse. And it's a horse in green Jello, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think, though, like, and honestly, though, most of the time, like, that one was, like, in my face. Like, literally, I was sitting next to it. But, like, I was just like, oh, this is scary. But most of the time, if there's something that I don't recognize, like I don't recognize what food it is, I just don't eat it. Like there's so many holiday foods that I'm like, I like that. So if there's something I don't know what it is, I just ignore it.
For sure. I actually, last holiday season, for the first time ever, had green bean casserole.
Mhm.
And because I'm allergic to onions, and everybody that I know, they put the onions on top of it and they chop onions and put it in it, right?
Mhm.
And so my cousin, bless her soul, love her to death, made me a special side dish of green bean casserole. No onions in it, no onions on top of it. So I was like, okay, I will try a bite because everybody else in the family eats it like crazy, right? Right? No. It was a mistake.
What
It was
was wrong
disgusting.
with it?
It was soup with green beans and mushrooms in it.
I mean, it does have condensed mushroom soup. It's supposed to.
Yeah.
But if
Okay,
it's
but I think-
like a soup, that's a problem.
Yeah, it was pretty much soup. And I think she had actually forgotten to season mine because there was like no seasoning in it. And yeah.
I'm kind of wondering, do you know if the green beans were canned green beans?
She usually uses, so my Nana usually, like, she grows her own garden of vegetables.
Oh, okay.
So the one that she made for everybody was those. I think mine she bought at the store or were canned. I'm not sure, but it was terrible. I was eating soup.
I'm wondering if, because it was like soup, if maybe for some reason, like since she makes the regular, like the typical one with fresh green beans, if she just didn't even think about draining the canned green beans, it was just like, boop,
Maybe.
plus the soup.
I don't know, but that's how it
Here
felt.
you go.
I was like, am I supposed to eat this from a bowl? And she's like, no, it's a casserole. You just, use your fork and eat it. And I'm like, how?
It did not have the structural integrity to be eaten with a fork.
No, it didn't. I was just sitting there. I tasted it, and I'm like, this is so bad. I don't want to tell her that though, because she wanted to share this holiday dish with me that everybody else in the family gets to eat. So she made me my own small one, and I didn't want to be like, I'm gonna throw this away the minute you're not looking.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was, I just took the bottle of pepper. It was just like pepper. Can I unscrew this? Just pepper. Where's the Tabasco? There we go. A little bit of Tabasco. Yep.
My favorite, green bean casserole and pepper Tabasco soup. A family tradition.
Holiday tradition. But I already told her, I was like, I'm not a big fan of it. You don't have to bring it. Plus,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that this year. So I am going to stay home. I'm going to grill me and Jay a steak or two. And maybe if I'm feeling extra fancy, I may make some rice on the side or mashed potatoes. I know. Maybe I'll put some mashed potatoes and a roll on the side of my steak that I'm going to grill here. So
You go get some King's Hawaiian rolls, and then you just have bread, and you just put the bread next to your food.
Even better, King's Hawaiian jalapeno rolls.
They're so good. What I like to get those. Oh my god! And I can't remember what they're called. I think they're called like Rhodes rolls. They're yeast rolls. When I'm feeling lazy and don't want to make it, I go out the store and it's an orange bag that has a ton of them in there, and then they're yeast rolls, and then you take them out of the bag and you set them out for like 3 or 4 hours, and I douse them in butter so that way they can rise in butter, and then I bake them and then I eat them, and they are good. And I think it's like RHO letters. And I have to say, for frozen rolls, they're good because they've also got them as a loaf. Because that's what I'll do sometimes is I get the loaf and I'll make it Italian. Because I'm lazy sometimes.
Yeah.
And they are actual really good yeast rolls. I enjoy them.
Oh, man,
Yeah, they're called Rhodes.
Yay! Thank you, Alfie.
Yeah, no problem.
But I was gonna say their story did remind me of like my own of like, oh, you really shouldn't have, please don't, like moment I had, which was like quite a few years ago now. But so I don't eat meat, and I was having Thanksgiving. It was like more like a Friendsgiving thing where it was just like a bunch of people all getting together, and one of them was like, you don't get to eat the turkey. I'm going to make you a roasted cauliflower, because I looked it up and that's like the vegetarian version of turkey.
Okay.
And I was like, you really don't have to do that. Like, I'm fine. Like, there's tons of sides. There's mac and cheese. There's potato. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need a like turkey substitute. But he was like, no, you don't have to do anything. I tried to talk him out of it. I was like, you don't have to do this. Don't do this.
Please don't.
Yeah, and so because he just took a head of cauliflower, brushed it in oil. So this is an entire head of cauliflower, brushed it in oil and put it in the oven, and then took it out. And of course, like, the inside was still just raw cauliflower, and there was no seasoning whatsoever. So it's just cauliflower.
Why? I'm going to start a campaign. I'm going to start a campaign. At least put salt and pepper on your food. Please. 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 Hashtag seasoning is good. Like, I think both of y'all have eaten my food that I've cooked, and I love seasoning food. I love seasoning my food. Okay, so come on, guys. At minimum, please put salt and pepper. At least at the bare minimum. Get yourself some Tony Chachere's seasoning salt and some peppercorn melody. And bam! Let's start with that. And then slowly introduce garlic powder. Slowly introduce onion powder if you like onions.
Oh, don't slowly introduce it. Dump it. Dump all of those things in the food.
Let's get some thyme or some basil or oregano or
crushed up rosemary.
Oh, say.
Oh my God. Okay. Black truffle salt. It can be kind of like too earthy or too strong for some people, but oh my God, you only need a little bit, and it is amazing.
Divine. But for everybody out there who's like, I don't know about this. I don't know about the seasoning. I'm just gonna give you an example. Are you ready? Let's use, what can I use as an example? Let's use, see this little thing right here? Pretend that's salt and pepper. You have your food. You'll there's the salt, there's the pepper. Flip over said thing. Okay, so now it's this way. Go a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Start with that.
If you're cooking in a pot, don't flip the pot over. You stir the pot.
Yes.
Stir the pot and go. Yes.
Stirring the pot is normally not good, but in this situation, stir the pot. And for things like soups and stuff, like as long as it doesn't have like raw chicken or pork, stuff like that in it, like for broth, taste it. Taste as you go. If it's like, oh no, there's not enough salt, put more in. Oh no, there's too much salt. Put some more broth.
If it's too salty, like if you use broth or certain stocks, they already have salt, and then you add salt, you could put in a potato. It absorbs the salt, and once you're done cooking, you take the potato out and throw it away because it's absorbed all the excess salt. You can also do the same thing with a carrot, but also please rinse off your carrot and your potato. And also, please rinse your rice and please rinse your meat.
Oh, you know what? I've thought of something. It wasn't like egregious like that Jell-O.
Okay.
But, and this might be kind of a hot take, but 90% of the turkeys I've had are trash. They're always too dry, overcooked. Turkey is overrated. I know it's Thanksgiving, but get something else. There's loads of other meat if you want meat.
I actually have a funny thing about that. I have a funny thing. So for Thanksgiving last year of 2021, where I had my nieces and nephews and my grandmother over, I made turkey for the first time ever in my life. And What's funny is I literally, like, I had spent weeks looking up recipes and stuff. And then finally we get to work and I'm in the warehouse and I'm like, guys, help me. What's right? And Eddie, our warehouse manager, who's bloody well amazing, he's like, okay, you need to soak it in brine for 2 days and then let it sit for a day. And I'm like, what does that mean? What are the words you just used? And so he texted me, talking me step by step through it. And I was like, oh my God, God bless you. Thank you. And I made a whole big turkey. And every hour I was opening it, or actually Jay was opening it because I was doing all the other stuff and was pouring butter and, flavors and all of that on it and just making sure everything was getting cooked. And I cooked it and it wasn't dry. It was so good. There was nothing left. There was nothing left. I was so proud of myself because I saved some and put it aside to bring to Eddie. And he was like, yeah, this was actually pretty good. Good job. And I'm like, I feel very accomplished. Thank you.
Yeah, especially if that was your first time making turkey. Like,
yeah.
Because there is no reason turkey has to be dry. It's not supposed to be. Meat isn't supposed to be dry, period. It shouldn't be. If it's dry, it's overcooked. If
it's dry, something went wrong.
Yeah. You overcooked.
Probably the timer.
100%.
I feel like...
Or the fact that you just didn't use one.
I feel like the brining, it, like, softens the meat a lot, and then the letting it dry, like, creates, like a shield to, like, keep this good brine juice inside.
That was very scientific. I liked it.
Yeah.
And what was great,
Huh?
I found out later brine was just supposed to be salt water. What I did was all the seasoning I was going to put on the turkey is all the seasoning I put into the brine. And I was there, later on, he was like, it's supposed to be a salt bath pretty much. And I was like, well, this is a Tony Chachere's pepper, rosemary, thyme, like all these seasonings bath then. And he was like, well, it worked. And I'm like, I know. Yay.
I think there's actually like different recipes for brine. I've seen like, if you want your turkey to be this style or whatever, then use these ingredients in the brine. It doesn't necessarily. I think the base is it has to be salt water, but also put other things in it. Have fun.
Yeah.
Go to town.
Also,
as long as you're seasoning your turkey, my God.
Yeah, I made a ham for the first time too.
Oh, I think I remember you talking about the ham.
I made a ham for the first time for Easter.
Yes.
Because half my family is Catholic, so they celebrate Easter. So I was like, oh, well, I have a big enough yard to have all the kids over for an Easter egg hunt. Just come on over. And we hid almost 500 eggs for 11 kids. And I made 2 hams. I made 2 hams because the first ham that I was talking about making, they got really mad at me because they were like, well, where's the pineapple and cherries? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like all these recipes that I looked up, all these recipes that because, half my family is Jewish. So I grew up very like, we didn't eat a whole lot of certain types of meats, anything pork related. And so as an adult, I'm not practicing. And these are things that I wanted to try that I didn't get to try growing up. So I made 2 hams. I made one of them with honey brown sugar glazed, and it was so good. And the other one, I added that glaze to it, but then I had to cut it into slices and put pineapples and then cherries on it. And it was not as good, but there was none left of either ham by the end of the day. So I don't know what the pineapple and cherries do that the other one didn't do, because the other one was more tasty, in my opinion. They were both like What is the
pineapple? The pineapple and cherries thing, I honestly just feel like that's leftover from old cookbooks. And people are like, well, no, that's what it's supposed to look like and taste like. And it's like, you know what? A lot of food back then, and I mean even just in 50s, 60s, 70s, it didn't taste good. Okay? We didn't know what we were doing. We were putting a stick of butter on our steaks and drinking milk with dinner. We don't do that anymore. Stop it. We don't have savory jellos. We don't put canned peas in jellos anymore. We don't eat mayo and bananas. Stop it. Okay, maybe some people do, but stop it. No,
Whoa,
we don't do this anymore.
Who is eating mayo and bananas?
People. I know. Okay, wait. I think actually, have you ever seen that show, My Big Fat Fabulous Life?
No.
Okay, it's a reality show. But I could have sworn that she actually I think they said it was a Georgia thing, but my granny's from Georgia. She never talked about this. But you take a sandwich, you put some mayo on it, you slice up some bananas, put the sandwich together, and you eat it. But that wasn't even the thing. Like, I suddenly remembered that. Last thing was, there's this YouTuber, Brutal Moose, and he found, like, old recipe cookbooks and was doing things from them, and one of them was, like, it was a banana with mayo and I think lettuce. And it's like, oh, no. But it was an older cookbook, for sure. And it's just like, no,
I've heard of
no one's eating
peanut
this.
butter sandwiches.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's fine if you like bananas, but that's normal. Those flavors make sense together. Mayo and banana, period, makes no sense. No sense. And I'm sorry if you're out there eating, really enjoying your peanut butter and mayo sandwich. I mean, not peanut butter, banana and mayo sandwich. But it's also doesn't make sense. But if you're out there enjoying your weird sandwiches, have fun. But it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Stop doing that and season your food, okay? Completely unacceptable.
I remember from last year talking about our Thanksgiving dinners that we all did. The one thing that I remember from you and Shanice telling me about, and Alfie may know about this, but I didn't know about it until that day. The whipped cream with vegetables thing or fruit.
Oh, like I think what is that stuff called?
Ambrosia?
Yeah, I think that's another name for it. I think growing up it was just called like fruit salad is what my family called it. But it's where it's like mixed together with like fruit and like nuts and like dried fruit and stuff, and it's got like that does have mayonnaise in it, doesn't it? In like the sauce it gets mixed together with. I don't ever make it. I just remember having it around.
Do you remember eating it?
Yes, I liked it. It was fruit. It was good.
There you go.
I'm still so confused by some of this. Oh my god.
Bologna cake.
Oh no, bologna cake.
Everyone's favorite.
Da-na-na-na. Bologna cake. Da-na-na-na. It's so
The thing is that probably is somebody's favorite.
I hope
probably
so.
Somewhere.
I hope someone. Well, I do. I hope their health is good too, because that doesn't seem very healthy. But na bologna cake.
I just need a minute. Let's move on to another question.
Yeah.
That
you know what?
will make us all much happier.
Yeah, and I think as far as like Alfie was saying, like the turkeys are always dry. I think one thing that I run into a lot with places, like going to see people for Thanksgiving and for holidays in general, but like I don't blame them at all for it, is, and just like Jena was saying, potatoes absorb everything. When you go somewhere and the mashed potatoes aren't seasoned, but like you have to put you have to put so much butter, and it does scare some people how much butter, salt, and garlic powder you have to put in for it to like taste good, because the potatoes just like suck it all up. It's good.
Taste it as you're going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it's also like with mashed potatoes and potato soups, like when you're making a large quantity of potatoes, you just need a large quantity of anything. You need a large quantity of seasoning. Period. That's you have to. You don't just sprinkle it. You take your hand and and then you take another hand, just more. Keep going.
Yeah.
You know that tub of butter that you can get at the store? Put like half of that in to start with.
Or get some of that fancy Kerrygold's for holidays and stuff, and then put like half of that. And then I don't normally make potatoes with cream, but I do for holiday time because it's fancier. So you get the Kerrygold, you get the cream, you get the salt.
I do sour cream in my mashed potatoes when I want them to be like extra delicious. Because it helps them make more fluffy.
Honestly, my preference, like my perfect potato, like mashed potato, is honestly kind of chunky. I'm like a person who likes to have like the texture and like the skin in there still. But like I said, I'm not mad about like a really creamy, like smooth, but I'm good with like some chunks in there.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, but yeah.
It kind of lets you know that it's like this was actually made. This is real potato.
Yeah. I like to chew my potatoes. Show them who's boss.
I think the skin is especially good when you're doing like red potatoes.
Okay.
It feels like you have to leave the skin on, so that people know you made it with red potatoes. Like, no, this is fancy. This is, I took extra time with this.
All right. So, what is y'all's favorite part of a holiday meal? Like, you go somewhere, this is the one thing you're looking forward to. Mine is pie.
It depends on which family I'm seeing.
Pie. Yeah.
Like, literally, for my wedding, I even asked for no cake. I wanted pie.
Yeah.
Pecan pie, pumpkin pie, apple pie, blueberry pie, peach pie, cherry pie.
Ooh, French silk pie or how you do.
Oh,
love house pies.
Okay. What about you, Bean? What's your favorite thing to go to family holiday like meal for?
I do a lot of the cooking. Like if I'm gonna go home and have a holiday meal, my family has kind of reverted back to just getting stuff from Cracker Barrel if I'm not there to cook. I have something that I make it. No one else eats it. It's just for me. I don't care. It's my special thing I make for myself every year, and that is cranberry sauce.
Like from scratch?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so I make it as tart as I want it. I make it like sour and good, and then I get my King's Hawaiian rolls. I sit and I eat it, and that's my.
One of these times, I'm gonna have to bribe you into making me your homemade stuff because nobody in my family knows how to make it. We've only ever seen it in can form, and not a single one of us like it. So we just don't have it during the holidays because nobody knows how to make it. So, like. Even as the many cousins and aunts and uncles are marrying off into other families, those families are still using canned cranberry sauce. So all of us, our entire clan of us, only know the canned stuff. So I'm going to have to be like, what did you just send me, Alfie?
The banana roll salad.
This is a terrifying image.
It's cursed. It's so cursed.
I'm cry reacting to it because I'm so scared. I'm sure Jay's gonna put it up on the screen so everyone else can be scared.
Yeah. Also, check out Brutal Moose's history cooking video when he makes it. It's great.
I'm scared. Okay, Alfie, what is the one thing you look forward to on? That is why. Oh God.
If you say banana roll,
I can't even joke about that because I legitimately hate bananas. I do not get them near me. I hate them so much. But no, if okay, if my boyfriend's family is doing one of their huge family gatherings where like all of his family gets together, they have tamales and they're so good, and they have these awesome beans, and they're just like they're just so good, and my family doesn't do that at all. And then his dad will typically make duck, and it is the first time I had it, I was like, oh my god, my family does this so wrong. We're eating wrong. I can't go back to living the life that I had before now that I've tried duck. And also just honestly, his dad's cooking in general is really awesome.
Nice.
And Dee Dee's a great cook too, so it's just like getting them together in a kitchen. It's like, yeah, I'm going to leave the table and have to take a nap because it's so good. And then if I'm cooking or something, I make really awesome mashed potatoes. Like holidays, I have to make mashed potatoes. It's required by law. And and pretty much anything that I bake, I really I think the pumpkin pie that I had made one time, that's the only time I've liked pumpkin pie.
Mm-hmm. It's totally different when you can season it yourself.
Oh, for sure.
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Was your statement just now? That is the only time I've liked pumpkin pie.
One of the only times. Did you make me a pie before?
No, I just love pie. The pies that you had, because we used to work together at GameStop, the pies that I used to bring to GameStop during the holiday season or during our crazy seasons would be the little mini ones, and it would be cherry, blueberry, and apple. Those are the pies that I would bring. But pumpkin pie and pecan pie are my two favorite pies, so that's why I took that personally for a minute there.
Oh, well, no, it's just I typically just don't like the store-bought pies. Like, I'm just kind of picky. Specifically with pumpkin and pecan, especially since sometimes the texture can get weird on both.
Okay, yeah.
Or the seasoning is off, or it's missing something. But I will say, okay, my mom makes an excellent pecan pie. And also, which actually I am kind of looking forward to that this holiday season. Surprisingly, Specs, which for those that don't know, that's a liquor store that I think is pretty much only in Texas. They have an awesome pie, an awesome pecan pie. Like, if you're going to get a store-bought pie, go to Specs. It's really good. I think it's like a bourbon pecan pie. It's so good.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. All right. Well, while we...
It is only in Texas.
Find more cursed food, and Jena deals with the fact that if she goes anywhere else, she won't have Specs to go to. We will be right back. See you guys in a second. All right.
Thanks for tuning into The Experience. Help us out and hit subscribe over on YouTube and click the bell when you do. Need some help? Scan the QR code in the bottom corner. Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere The Experience is all the time.
Hi, I'm Sue Lee, and I'm working on Carmilla the First Vampire, coming out by Burger Books with Amy Chu, and you're watching The Experience.
All right, we are back. My dog is still sneezing behind the curtain. Don't mind the dog sneezing.
There's nothing behind the curtain. Ignore it.
What are you doing, buddy? Come here. I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, so we've talked about foods that we want to eat, but like, I'm curious, what are some like activities or like things that you guys do every holiday season that you look forward to?
Oh gosh, there's two of mine. There's two for me. The first thing is a lot of the like smaller companies in comic book industry, like Aftershock and Image and all of that, they put out their horror Christmas stuff. I'm super excited to see. They have new stuff every single year, and I'm so excited to see what it's going to be. I hate to put it this way, but the like November, December is the biggest time for the horror books in comics. And I'm so excited to see what's going to be their new horror book of the season. I'm so excited. And then the other thing that I do is, and this stems back all the way back to when I was like young. When we lived on the ranch, we would get the back of the truck bed or the trailer and fill it with hay. And then all of us kids would just go riding around the neighborhoods and see all the lights. And now that I kind of live, I guess you could say this is city. Yeah. It's, yeah. There's, yeah. There's full neighborhoods where every single house will decorate like crazy. And it's cool. So what I'll do is I'll make some hot chocolate, or I will, well, hello there. Or I'll stop by. Actually, so the actual full tradition of what we do is me and Jay, or me, Jay, and Sean, and every so often I have one or two of the kiddos with me. We'll stop at Starbucks. The kiddos will get hot chocolate. I'll get a white chocolate mocha with whipped cream, and heat it up because they warm up their chocolate chip cookies there, and it's so good. And then we just go look at lights out. There's one that's here in the Woodlands where you turn to the station and they actually have like a 2-hour show, a fully programmed show to music. And 2 years ago they did a punk Christmas show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Last year they did a Disney Christmas show. So this year I can't wait to see what they're going to do this year. And I love seeing the holiday lights. I really do. And so what they do is they have every single house, even they have a weird little side street cul-de-sac into it, but it's a giant U with a little cul-de-sac on one side. So it's the main road and it's a giant U, and every single house, they've even got the stuff like between houses going back and forth. And I never miss that. I go every year. Probably 2 or 3 times.
That's awesome.
We've also got somewhere out in I want to say it's close to Katy, where it's like 100 acres of like you drive through like Land of Lights or something. I think is that what it's called? I can't remember.
I think they had one of those closer to here, like
it's next to Splashtown.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
They have another one that's out in the middle of. It used to be a field, like an almost 100-acre field. It's either Tomball or Katy, I can't remember. But it used to be a 100-acre field, right? And they put in not dirt roads, but kind of like gravel roads. Mm-hmm. And you just drive through this whole 100 acres, and it's just
cool. I want them to make that, but not driving. Like I've never wanted to do that because I'm just gonna feel like I'm in traffic. Like that's
you have that if you go over to the pavilion.
Yeah.
Like the second week of December, they do have that.
Where's the pavilion? What is that?
It's over by Market Street in the mall.
Okay.
Oh, the Cynthia Mitchell
There's
Woods?
like a library, huh?
The Cynthia Mitchell Woods Pavilion?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what they do is they have it's the library, they have that giant park, and then it's pavilion. On this side of the pavilion, they actually made a walk-through light thingy. They've done it for years and years, and I go to that every year too.
I got to go see that because I've always seen the drive-through ones and been like, I don't want to go there. I'm actually, you know what? To be totally honest, I am afraid I'm going to run my car into the Christmas lights. I'm going to get distracted because there's like elves and stuff happening, and I'm just going to accidentally run my car into it. Like, that is my fear.
The neighborhood that's down here, they also have a place you can park and walk through it too.
I will say that I did the haunted drive thing on this past Halloween, and you turn your lights off and you're guided by lights. It seemed like they made it pretty clear that they weren't going to consistently jump scare the driver because of obvious "I will run you over" type reasons. Like, and if the driver is jumpy, then you might press on that gas pedal. But I would assume that at driving Christmas light shows, they might be like, "Oh, hey, maybe let's not distract the driver." Maybe not. I would hope that they would try not to, at least.
Well, I don't know. Santa is flying over the whole vehicle. You're distracting everybody.
Oh, yeah, that is pretty distracting.
Yeah. But Alfie, what is your Christmas tradition, holiday tradition thing?
You see, I'm having trouble thinking of like a thing that we absolutely do every single year. I mean, I know like baking and cooking in general is just that's a thing that happens. I know pretty much every year, like my family tends to celebrate on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day is just you do whatever you want, chill out type day. But oftentimes, like when I'm cooking or my mom's cooking or anyone's cooking, it's like, all right, put on a not family, that Christmas Vacation movie, which now my brain is blanking on the first part of that.
Is it called Christmas Vacation?
Yeah, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Yeah. We put that on, or we put on Scrooge. I'm more of I like those movies, but I definitely prefer Muppet Christmas Carol or Home Alone classics. But those are going, and we're all kind of hanging in the living room or the kitchen, just chilling out. Well, I mean, me and my mom aren't chilling out. Everyone else is chilling out. And used to, when I was a kid, we would go to see the lights in Prestonwood Forest, which, I mean, they're like, it's not just that all the lights or all the houses are lit up. It's like each street has a theme.
Ooh.
So it's like you have the 12 Days of Texas Christmas. You have a Peanuts Street. There was this one house. I don't know if they still do it or if maybe the person passed away or something. It's been a long time since I've been in that neighborhood. Probably need to go this year. But it was the Disney house. And I think that whoever owned the house like actually made the cutouts and stuff of every, like if there was a new movie that came out that year, that was going to be there.
Oh my god.
It was just always up to date, and it was so, you can't even imagine the amount of characters that were on that house. And as a little kid me, that was the best thing in the world.
That is so
like
cool.
Skip the rest of the neighborhood. I just want to see that house. The closest thing to Disney World I ever got to until I was like 8. But at that moment, that was Disney right there, and we just drive past it. But yeah, that house was awesome.
And what about you, Bean? What's your like? I can't wait for this holidays because of this thing.
So I have a tradition I started a couple of years ago that I really look forward to. I really like. It's just me. It's not a family tradition. But every year now, usually like a week around before Christmas or something like that, I have a day where I make Christmas cookies. So like, and like all out, like, and I make them from scratch, and I'm not very good at decorating them, but I'll make gingerbread cookies and then like decorate them, and they look like a child did them, but it doesn't matter. They're tasty, and I had fun. But I listened to this. So I love Last Podcast on the Left, and they a couple years ago did a 5-part series on the JFK assassination.
Oh.
And each one is like an hour and a half long. It's really long. It's super in depth, and that's what I listen to as I make Christmas cookies.
That sounds so awesome.
Nothing gets me into the Christmas spirit anymore than a podcast about the JFK assassination.
Yeah, exactly. You get it.
I'm gonna steal your tradition because that does sound like fun, actually.
Yeah, I would say if you're not as much into the JFK assassination, it does go a little against like the cookie theme, but they also did my other series I love that they did was on the Black Plague. That one is also like
okay, that's more up my alley. That makes me want to put on my Santa hat and my elf ears, make some cookies, listen about the Black Plague. Yeah. That's definitely more my speed. I feel like the JFK assassination is more like an Easter thing, but I think that's just me.
Yeah, we've all got different traditions.
Black Dahlia.
What?
There needs to be one about the Black Dahlia, so I can really get into the Hanukkah mood.
Black Dahlia. That feels very Hanukkah. Yeah. And if it's if it's an 8-part series, you could do one every day.
One a night.
Yeah, there you go.
Genius.
All right, guys. Now that we have figured out which documentaries go to which holidays, it is now time for Pick of the Week. Woo! All right, so it was Bean's pick last week. Take it away, Bean.
Okay, so I picked a book I had never read before, and I only was able to read the first 2 issues, and that is Baby Teeth, because I've been wanting to read this series for so long, and life is crazy, and life is still crazy, but at least I have it. I read the first 2 now, and it's so good. So, like, the basic premise of it is that a girl gives birth. She says, so I'm still like really early in, but like she says it's immaculate conception.
Yeah.
That she didn't have sex, that she just had a baby, and that baby is the Antichrist.
Yup.
And so the first 2 issues that I was able to read, I love them. It's so good. It's just like one of those comics where you start reading it, and like I was a little worried. I guess it would be slow in the beginning. I don't know why. I guess I just think babies are boring. I
mean, fair.
Yeah, but it's just so well written and so good. I love it. But I know, Jenna, you've already read it before.
I have it all. I own every issue. This was a series that was kind of early on in Aftershocks, like, I wouldn't call career, but kind of like early on when they were first like starting out, right? This was one of their first 5 titles, I want to say it was. This was not one of those ones where I could pick up the first one and then wait for the trade. No, this was one of those ones where I needed every single issue, and I did. I think the writing is amazing. I think the plot was, it's kind of a plot that it's a story that we've seen kind of before in other things like Rosemary's Baby and you know, other things where they've shown the Antichrist come around. But this one felt original to me. You know what I mean? Like it just I don't know how else to describe it except for love. I love this series, and I don't want to talk on the series too much because I can't remember what's in the first 2 issues, because I remember the whole thing because I've read the whole thing. And I don't want to spoil anything for you, Bean, because it's that good. Oh, God, it's so good. Because it goes all the way up to him as a toddler.
Yeah, I just went. Actually, the cheapest. Oh, I did my research. The cheapest option I could find, that I could also easily get, was to get the year 1 omnibus, which is the first 10 issues on digital. So that was my solution as somebody who's been trying to get a hold of this for a long time. That was just finally what I did. I was like, I'm just gonna get it this way. So
perfect. So because I don't want to spoil anything, I will defer to Alfie. Alfie, tell us what you think of. How far did you get?
I am currently on issue 9.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will also try to not spoil anything. But I definitely agree that it feels different. It doesn't feel like cookie cutter, like, oh, okay, well, it's the Antichrist, and it's just yada, yada, yada. We've seen this all before. Yeah. There's actually, like, a couple times where I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that to happen. Cool. And Also, I will agree with Bean. I was kind of worried that it was going to just kind of be slow. I was worried that maybe it was going to focus on the pregnancy too much, but then it was like, oh no, she's happening. It's happening right now.
Right here, right now. Like those earthquakes that I think, correct me if I'm wrong, those earthquakes at the very like first page of the first issue that they're talking about, that's contractions. It's happening. It's go time now. First issue.
Yeah,
definitely. I wasn't expecting the earthquake thing was definitely not something I was expecting. I was like, oh no. This is bad.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed it, and like I don't know why. I guess because I don't pay as much attention always to like who makes comics. I just like look at the pretty pictures and then buy them. But like, so this was written by Donny Cates, which of course is like super famous, super well known for being an incredible writer. And like once I saw that, I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense why. And it's like there's so many little things already that are set up, like where they're talking in the command center and they're like, oh man, not another one. And it's like, how many babies have you killed? Because they're like, another one. They like get the gun out and they're like, all right. And it's like
665 is how many they've killed.
Oh, so like a handful.
Yeah.
And where I stopped reading, I had just hit where I had met Prairie Wolf.
Oh.
So, and I was like, it's gonna be good when the villain, you're just like, yeah, villain. Yeah. I know you're the bad guy, but like, yeah.
Okay, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but something unexpected happened for me at the end of the issue as I was scrolling through. I had to scroll all the way to the bottom to get to the next. And you know how they'll have pictures and stuff of like either fan art or people that have read the book and whatnot. Well, in one of the issues, I noticed a couple of familiar faces. It was people like it was various comic book shops that were repping Aftershock, and I was like, that's Shanice. And I don't know if it was you, Bean, or if it was someone else. But I was like, wait, that's Space Cadets. What are they doing in this?
What issue is that in? I want to see that. It definitely wasn't me. But like...
Yeah, like it was. I couldn't tell because the hair was pulled back, and I just saw glasses. I was just like, I don't know. I haven't known Bean long enough to be like, is that? Oh, maybe I don't know. It definitely. I don't think it was you, Jena. I don't think it was you.
When I first started working there, I had long brown hair.
It might have been Miss Jen. I mean, glasses.
It wasn't Miss Jen.
Because I remember that day. We took 3 or 4 different pictures because Joe Pruitt was actually at the store. He's the head president and the owner of Aftershock. He was actually at the store doing a signing. And he did a couple of pictures. He did one with Hannah and Shanice. He did one with me, Hannah and Shanice. He did one with me and Shanice. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not 100% certain. Yeah, I was scrolling through, just trying to get to the next issue, and then I was like, wait a second. Hold on. This seems familiar.
Yeah. I'm not going to scroll and try and find it because I don't want spoilers. Because I'm definitely going to read this.
But you'll know to look for it when you get to that issue.
Yeah. At this point, I will probably be able to read, like Christmas break. I'm almost done with my semester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, it is my turn for Pick of the Week. This is a series that I think like Arc 1 has wrapped up. It's one that I've talked about. It's Kickstarter related. But you're going to love this because it has the bunny. I'm not wearing the shirt today, but it's a giant pink bunny named Horace, who was a general in hell. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Focus Hocus.
Yay! Trade.
I can send it to you. Look how pretty the trade is.
It is beautiful.
They also did a metal variant and a holofoil variant. They took from the Necronomicon.
Mm-hmm.
I will make sure I get that to you guys. I'm super excited. So it is about a magician who sells his soul to a demon for magic. Well, later on, he goes back to the demon to get his soul back. Demon doesn't have it. They have to go on an epic quest to get it back. I think he lost it in a poker game.
I'm so excited. I've been hearing you guys talk about the series forever.
Yeah.
I think you loaned me the first one. Obviously, you have it. I gave it back. But
Yeah.
I know it just kind of sat with my stuff for a while. And I kept looking at it and being like, I should read that. And I kept not. But now I'll read it.
What's so great, and I hope you guys catch this, but most of it's in black and white, and only parts of it are in color. And you'll see why once you start reading it. And you're just going to be like, oh, you clever, clever boys, you. It is Will Radford and Alan Dunford. Oh, my gosh.
They've got like half of their last names are the same. And they both have double L's in the first name. It's basically the same name.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm just going to go, let me open up to the first page.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm so excited for you.
that.
And then they also had a side story done. Hold on. They've got, in the trade that I have, in the back, they've got the super special of the Kit Wallace cover that was done.
I love it. I love
And
Kit
they had a
Wallace.
single side story called Horse and Hell. The same people who did Grandma Chainsaw, serial killer grandma.
Nice.
Yeah. And art, thank you. Our producer is putting it on there because I always forget. Art by Brian Belondo, colors by Jason Smith, and lettering done by Dave Lentz. And it has just been released to SourcePoint because halfway through the series from Kickstarter and Bad Bug, SourcePoint, I believe, bought it. Horse and Hell isn't out yet. Okay, thank you, Mr. Producer, for reminding me that. But yeah, the two dudes, Will and Alan, are so awesome. We got to sit down and have kind of like a lunch dinner thing in Virginia with them, and that was so much fun. Or was it North Carolina? Were we still in North Carolina when we met them? I think we were in Virginia. I can't remember. We were in Salem, Winston. And it was so cool. They're just so cool because they're the most humble dudes where they're like, I can't believe people like our stuff. Thank you. And we're like, dude, you write good stuff. And they're like, yeah, but we can't believe people actually like to read our stuff. Oh, I do it. I love to read your stuff. But yeah, they're both super awesome. I love this book. The trade, I really like the design they did for the trade. And when you see Horace, the pink bunny, you're going to be like, yep, that's why Jena screams bunny every time she talks about this book. So on that note, bunny! That's all.
So you like this book then?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. Give it a shot.
And I think if you guys aren't able to find it, just let me know because I think we also have it, the PDF. So
yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna try to find it quickly. I'd like to give them another sale if I can, Yeah. But if not, I'll come to your house and take it from you and read it with my eyes.
By force.
Mm-hmm.
My choice.
So, I've been Alfie. That's been Bean. That's been Jena. We've all been Space Cadets. And if you celebrate the holidays, have happy holidays. If you don't, still have a good time. And if the holidays have got you down this year, just remember that at least you're not having that one Jello. Bye.
Bye.